Hello everybody. I acquired this central vac hose from somebody on Craigslist or freecycle.org for free, and they said the hose is in good shape, but the electrical part of the hose was not working. And they were absolutely right. You could not use the on-off switch here to activate the vacuum. And there's an excellent video out there that shows how to repair the two contacts which are inside here. So this hose handle rotates. There are two contact points which make the electrical connection to two rings that are connected to the two wires running down this hose. So as I say, there's an excellent video out there on this. I'll try to find a link and post it below. But on this end, what I did was I just took off the cuff that was on it, and I put on this cuff. And ignore these wires here on the back for just a moment, but I put on this cuff. This cuff is super simple. By using this cuff, you'll see that the ring is continuous all the way around. Inside the traditional super valve, there are two contacts. You see those two contact points there? There's one there, and there's one right there. So when you insert your hose, those two contact points get shorted out by this ring, and your vacuum system turns on. So this doesn't really care what position it's in because the ring is continuous. I wanted to get the on-off switch working again, so I've decided to take this cuff off and put a new replacement cuff or wall end termination here. So I purchased this kit online. It's made by Cen-Tec, C-E-N-T-E-C, and it did not come with any instructions, and I couldn't find anything online that shows how this goes together. But you have these parts right here, some shrink tubing. There's a pigtail here with a fuse on it. And I thought I'd show you just how the parts go together. These are the two wires. These are the low voltage wires. These are the wires that turn the central vac on and off. They are not intended to supply power to a power brush head or a power head. I'll just walk you through how the parts go together. Here's the pigtail. It goes this way. The way you install this hose, it's a reverse thread. So you turn it counterclockwise to install it. I like to put a little bit of hot melt glue on it first and then thread it in. That way it keeps it from rotating and it'll keep these wires from breaking. So once you have that on, you have this pigtail assembly. The way it works is pretty clever. It slides in, and if you look right here, you see this little opening right here. There's a little window there. It's blocked off on this end, but there's a little window there. And as you slide this in, this little tab right here. I hope you can see that on the camera. But this little tab right there, when you slide it in, that tab engages and locks the part into the correct position. Similarly, when you take this assembly and insert it into here, into the hose fitting end, you'll notice that this tab right here, that tab engages right there. So that's all these parts stay together. These two tabs up, this locking tab here down, and then your wires go, one wire solders onto there, the other wire solders on to here. And you can see with this ring, it's not a continuous ring, it's split. So one half of the ring makes contact with one of the contact points in the super valve inlet or outlet, and then the other pin on that outlet makes contact over here. You need to have this style end in order to get the orientation correct for these two half rings so that they're oriented correctly into the valve. And then when you have that, your on-off switch will work properly. But it's important to have this key right here. That locking key is important. That plug is extremely important in getting the whole hose fitting end lined up correctly so that those two half rings, one ring's making contact here, the other ring's making contact here. I'm going to just put shrink tubing over all this here because I'm not using the 115 volt connection. I don't have a 115 volt set of wires in my hose, so I'm just going to cover that with shrink tubing. This way I have the pins that give me the correct alignment into the valve, and then the on-off switch on the end of my hose will actuate my central vac properly. This hose is typically used in my garage, so there's no need to have a power brush head out there. I just need on-off control, and this will give it to me. Here's a close-up view of how everything goes together. Notice how this is lined up. That in line with that. That one lines up with that. I don't have my wires attached yet. So this part, this little notch here, is at the left end of this shot, and the part pushes on this way. And when you do that, the little tab will engage right here and right there. So if you found this at all helpful, and hopefully if you're looking at this you did because you couldn't find any instructions on how to put this together online, you'll subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.